Well. Innovators, how are we? Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone is having a good week, a good day, and a good month even. I certainly am. The Innovation members certainly are. And I hope you guys are as well. Now, it's been around 2 months or so since the last video. And to be honest with you, there has been a few reasons why I haven't done a video in so long. And the main reason really is number one, not really compromising too much regarding what we are doing with the members. Of course, I cannot sabotage all of that information. However, I can reveal we have now purchased some more XRP again. And the reason why I'm happy to reveal this is because I'm not going to reveal what I'm doing next with this XRP that I have just purchased. The second reason why I haven't done a video in quite some time is purely because of all the hate. It just wasn't worth my time or my energy to continuously beg people to take some profit only to have it continuously thrown in my face. Now, this video is not just to give you an outlook on the market. I'm obviously not going to say where I'm buying and selling or what I'm doing next. I cannot give away the members' information, but we have had a lot of good things happening, and I feel it's the right time to, number one, give you a bit of reassurance that I have purchased myself, but also a massive fucking wake-up call to those people who did doubt, to those people who mocked, who laughed, who critiqued the entire way down. I do not feel remorse for those people. Now, we have just hit a new record in this journey. I'm going to show you that right now. We have now acquired 569,233 XRP, purchased around 37 down towards around 30 cents, the current bottom. Now, one thing that's quite annoying for me is Kraken has now, I think as time progresses, it slowly removes the historical buys and sells. So we do not have the complete picture right now, but I truly think this chart and the buys and sells printed on this chart, they should truly speak for themselves at this point. So I'm not going to go into a big discussion about the haters, but all I'm going to say is I told you so, and I hope you are prepared for what's potentially happening next. That's all I'm going to say regarding that note. We do not need to waste too much time and energy on those people, but who's laughing now, basically? So what we need to remember is how we started this journey, and I think this video is worth covering in terms of the entire journey as well, where of course the March 2020 crash, where we purchased around 15 to 16 cents with $30,000. Now, as time progressed, we obviously got to the SEC case over here, where we sold just before the case was announced and reinvested to purchase 450,000 XRP. So if you look now, we have now breached a new record, and the main goal here for me, just to make this very clear from the offset, is not to make as much money as possible. It's to accumulate as much XRP as possible without taking a single penny out of my pocket again, besides that initial investment. Obviously, moving forward, we sold again here. We didn't buy there, that's just $11. Sold here, XRP 1000 giveaway, and I obviously bought that at the top, so it was worth more for that individual. And then over here, we had a $4 sell. That was a little joke for Twitter. I sold 5 XRP saying that, fuck it, I'm done. I can't take this anymore. But what they didn't know is obviously what I covered in one of the last videos was I sold 50K pinpoint at $1 and another 50K at 89 cents. Now let's look at the present day and kind of look overall at how perfectly we have made this market our absolute bitch throughout this cycle. I think the most important thing as well, before I start progressing into the technicals and giving a bit of an insight into what is likely going to happen next from both intraday to overall in the bigger picture. First and foremost, please do not be scared. I've purchased for a reason, and that reason is obviously with the intention to the market going higher. Otherwise, I would not have purchased. However, like many of you probably believe now, which I'm going to get into as well, I do believe the market is still going lower. However, I have positioned myself in early, more as a psychological test for many of the members, and also to just reassure people that we are doing this in real life. I think the most important thing I have to mention as well before we continue is now is a time, like I've been begging you to do throughout this entire cycle, you need to take a good hard look at all of these people that promised you 100K, all of these people that told you hodl, all of these people screaming diamond hands. The brutal truth is Even those influencers, the verified ones, all of these people with the cum face thumbnails, the people you know I despise, ask yourself if they have left this bull market with a profit, or are they drowning with you? Anyone that didn't take profits, I do not know what to say. I mean, greed is the biggest controller of this market. The crypto market is 100 times more emotional than any other market we've seen in the world. And the level of greed that consumes the market participants is truly unbelievable. This here should set a beautiful example of why you do not rush to get rich quick, why you scale out, and why you are patient. From the point we sold here, or from the point we bought in 2020 during that COVID crash, we bought with the intention of taking this money out in this cycle and reinvesting it back down lower. Now, another good example is here. Where I sold, the market went higher. In that moment in time, everyone goes, you've sold the bottom. When we sold here and showed this in the last video, a lot of the comments were saying you've just sold the generational lows, you've sold the bottom, congratulations. Well, now we're here at 35 cents and we've already hit 29 cents. So what you need to realize now, this video is basically a wake-up call, guys. Like, I was not saying this stuff to hurt you. I was not saying this stuff to scare you. This was not FUD. This was me being realistic in a market that is full of idiots, fools, and sheep. Herd-like mentality. The people that were telling you 100k, the people that were screaming diamond hands and hodl, they have ended up in the same predicament as every other loser out there in the market. The problem here is that the people in positions of power, or people with influence and a voice, shall I say, they are no different to the retail sentiment. I've been preaching this for a long time, to do the opposite of the majority, because the majority always lose. And this has proven it yet again. Everyone's saying it's too big to fail. Elon Musk, Tesla, just sold the majority of their BTC. Yet over here, in March 2022, Elon Musk tweeted, I will not be selling my BTC. At this very point in time where the market basically hit a high and broke down even lower. These people are there to trick you. Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, all of that bullshit is a trick to make you want to get rich quickly. The market is not your friend and it is not here to help you. What I think is also hopefully very beneficial to you guys, I hope you've been enjoying, by the way, those new reels. They take like 1 day to do for a stupid 1 minute clip, but I feel they're worth it because I'm still trying to be that voice of reasoning in this market, alongside the technical articles on our website as well. If you haven't already checked them out, I'm now doing, and Bernie, doing free Forex and crypto articles just to keep you guys in the loop on a few little things here and there. But more importantly, you guys know my goal was to accumulate and achieve 1 million XRP from this cycle. And we are now 50%, in fact, over 50% of the way there. I have still remaining $200,000 at my disposal to put back into the market. And I'm not going to say where, but I do believe we're going to get a breach lower. And I will then invest the remainder. I could invest this right now, 100%, and basically get that figure right now. I could literally buy right now and get 1 million XRP and achieve that goal in a split second. And that's the main message of this video, to be honest with you. It's that this is your goal as an investor. Hodling, all of that rubbish, no, the hodlers do not win. People are using old historical kind of timelines, you know, the Genesis BTC investors. Oh no, but if you bought in 2013, if you bought in 2015, you'd be up so-and-so. Hedge against inflation. Does that look like a fucking hedge against inflation to you? You actually would have been better off just leaving your money in a bank, or actually just burning it, because it's equated to the same result. Now, as we are approaching this level, I am hearing that Elon Musk or Tesla selling their BTC holdings, and apparently the market hasn't dented, and that is now confirming the bottom is in. Half of the people think the bottom is in, the other half think we are going much, much lower. Now, I'm going to break this down a bit further. So first of all, just understand at any given moment, this goal is now basically achieved. What I've said to the members and what I've been telling you guys from the offset is I put myself in win-win situations because I'm investing so much lower than where I buy. look at where the sells are situated and look at where the buys are situated. Obviously disregarding the stupid $4 and the 1000 XRP there, the biggest investments are made at the lows of the market. And one thing I also always say is invest as far away from all-time highs as possible. And that is the case yet again. We are getting there. Now that this situation is occurring, let's break down what's happening in the market right now. I am using entirely white candles at the moment, and I'm probably going to leave it this way. The reason being is I do not want emotions factored into my analysis in any way, shape or form. It does not benefit you in any way. If you switch over to the candle color sticks, it is going to impact your overall market oversight, because seeing 3 bearish monthly candles like that, you're going to shit yourself. And most people have. A good example is this situation here on the BTC weekly right now. And this is the main thing I really want to break down. Now, I'm not using colors on my charts. So whilst the majority of people are, what do you think they're seeing? And what do you think is happening here? One thing I broke down on Instagram and Twitter yesterday, the best way to view this is what has happened historically. Now, I personally think the majority of people are going to be wrong about what they're expecting next. And I also think the people buying right now are also wrong. The only difference here is, I've shown this for a reason, because I know if this does go lower, people are going to say, oh my God, let's say it goes to what everyone wants, 10 cents. They're going to say, oh my God, you're wrecked. No, because the capital is there to continue scaling in. And here we have caught the bottom every single time. And I would do so again if we go lower. And I think I know exactly where that's going to go. Now, going back to this perspective here, let's evaluate the market first from how everyone else is watching this. I said this to the members, this is almost like a PTSD scenario, where now every single low that people have tried to capture has led to more obliteration and pain. Continuously. And if you guys remember, when we were up here and many times over here, I said most people will not realize we are in a bull market or bear market, until it's too late. And as you can see now, they have finally realized. This is what I consider some form of PTSD, where you are constantly betrayed or constantly abused by the market and wrecked. It's only when it's too late you start to actually want to be a bit more sensible. So imagine now, buying here, wrecked, buying here, wrecked, buying here, wrecked, buying here, wrecked. This was meant to be the generational lows. Do you remember what everyone was saying? The higher low? Because people just draw bullish trend lines, regardless of the trend. Here right now, I can only imagine how many people are drawing this, going, oh my God, breakout, oh. No, control yourselves. It's not that serious. The market may not be done just yet. But imagine all of this, the higher lows, God knows, institutions are coming. Michael Saylor buying at 50k. Well, you saw what happened to MicroStrategy. Elon Musk sold. He even tweeted diamond hands. He sold. These people are here to trick you. So what's happened is, after being constantly betrayed and brutally fisted by the market, people are now finally starting to actually consider we're in a bear market when it's far too late. Now, looking at BTC here right now, naturally, the one thing I said at the very least is we need to come back to 20k. Broken that resistance with so much severity and force, it was almost inevitable the market would return back to retest this level. Naturally, as you reject any form of support and resistance, another good example over here, when you retest a particular crucial level, there is likely going to be an initial upside move. Vice versa, if you retest a crucial level of resistance, you're going to see some form of move. The market tends to work in that way time and time again. Now, such a brutal level like this, obviously, it's a psychological number, $20,000. One thing that people kept telling me is, we've never seen BTC fall that much or return back to the other all-time high, all this craziness, basically. Now, what is down below? We have another level that has not been rejected. Now, if you guys remember, I said this from the offset, I still believe BTC will come back to $5,000. However, I don't think it's going to be a smooth journey, and there will likely be many, many traps in play. In fact, I am more open than ever now to a sub $5,000 BTC, due to external influences and economic factors, and also the fact that the bubble is now imploding. All of this here, the alt season bullshit people were telling you, we had our alt season, it was NFTs, it was DeFi. All of that capital was created on a new bubble instead. The best way to illustrate this is one major bubble here, and within this bubble we are seeing artificial inflations from NFTs within that, and DeFi within that as well. There are bubbles within bubbles that are overall inflating the larger bubble. Now that those bubbles have popped, again, people telling me NFTs are the futures. I was literally arguing with people for months on end about NFTs, and unfortunately, guys, you have been scammed. They are worthless. NFTs, you know, everyone's talking about the use case. Yeah, but it's going to be great in the future. You can guarantee this. You can own this. It's ownership. No, it's for the governments to control you, for fuck's sake. It is for the governments to utilize and track your data on the blockchain. This is part of that cashless society we're talking about. This is part of that Agenda 2030. NFTs are merely a means for government control, to have your data tokenized on the blockchain, your assets and property. Cartoon monkeys are not going to make you rich. They have made some people rich. The early investors, the people that bought and got the hell out. The same as people that bought here and got the hell out. Anyone that bought here, wrecked. Anyone that bought NFTs at the top, wrecked. NFTs, in my opinion, the Bored Apes, all of that rubbish, that is merely a means. One thing I wrote about, if you've read my books, I've said this many times. NFTs and cryptos, all of this meteoric rally, all these prices, these percentage gains, it is designed to make you desire this technology and all of this new infrastructure that's going to be incorporated into the mainstream eventually. NFTs, the cartoons, the JPEGs, they were gimmicks for you to adopt this technology. As you've probably seen, the UK government are now actually approving the issuance of legal papers via NFTs. This is the first implementation we've really seen. And people are screaming, woo, woo, this is amazing. No, it's not amazing. It is further contributing to total slavery of society and control. I always say this, guys, crypto, they are open, transparent ledgers. If they're not going to use these ledgers, they're going to use their own. And when have you ever given the government, or when has the government ever required new technology or new technological advancements and actually used it for the greater good? They use it to benefit themselves and their own pockets. And whilst everyone's screaming, whoa, NFTs, the future, dude, whoa, let's go to the Bored Ape meet up and just hug. Yeah, you do that, congratulations. But whilst you're doing that and worrying about the distractions they're implementing, they are implementing the actual technology for use cases that are far worse than what you can physically imagine. Now this over here, when we get to this point, you remember I said if we break 60,000, it doesn't mean we are bullish. And I'm going to use many other examples for this. From this perspective here on the daily, the all-time high was created by a huge bullish candle, obliterating the all-time high again. We wicked, we broke down, we have not returned back since. What do you think that candle was making people do? Buying, buy. And guess what was waiting up there? For something to go all the way up to this level and immediately reverse, there were sell limits and sell orders awaiting. Guess who probably set them sell limits? Institutions, maybe CME futures traders, large people, hedge funds, those who are the market makers. Let's just say whales. It's easy to just describe them as whales because they are the ones that control everything. Now they enticed you into the trap. This entire market is a trap. They enticed you into buying where their orders were awaiting. They create the artificial pump, the retail jump on screaming 100k BTC, and you got trolled. It hit 69k. Very funny, actually. Now, why did we not hit 100k? Because every single person was expecting that. I said this on Twitter, for anyone that follows me on Twitter. It is physically impossible for every single person to get rich. And unfortunately, every single person seems to believe they're going to get rich. They're holding 50 million SHIB or 50 million Doge. And they say, oh, when it goes to this price, I'll be a millionaire. I'm just going to set and forget. It's not possible for every single person to buy a load of shit coins and get rich overnight. It's just not going to happen. And unfortunately, it's that delusion that tricks people into these traps. And to be honest, who knows if we will ever even go back to the all-time highs again? Things are changing. We haven't seen those regulations yet. We have seen UST, the first implosion of stablecoins. I've been warning you about stablecoins for a very long time. USDC at the moment seems like the only real one that has some form of authenticity behind it because they've proven their reserves. Tether remains the biggest risk for me next. We are not regulated yet. There are many things that can contribute to this market going much, much lower. And as you guys know, and I hope now you can see and believe how possible this all is. It's fallen around 75%. Does that mean it cannot do the same again? You tell me. 75, around there. And now let's consider where we are from that low. If we are to go down, maybe 70, maybe 80, who knows, maybe 1,000. Look at what is possible. And this is the problem. People do not process this. Right now, everyone's coming in their pants because we've broken higher. The first upside move we've seen. People do not learn their lesson. Now going over to the daily time frame here, let's look at what's happened. We have a range. Let's get rid of that level. The market, the best way to explain this psychologically is we have been crashing, no bullish momentum. Suddenly out of nowhere, we start consolidating. Now what's everyone going to be doing here? From what I've gathered, most people are now expecting 10k or lower immediately. I don't know how well that will play out, but I do agree it's good to see. Basically, the best way to explain it is it's good to see people are now expecting further downside, but unfortunately you need to take a look at those people that told you 100k because they're now the same ones saying 10k. So that tells me if they're only factoring this in now, when we factored this in up there, they have not sold. And the best way to prove it, guys, I challenge anyone to show this. Can anyone prove they have actually sold and bought this cycle the way we have? These people telling you they're buying dips, these people telling you they suddenly, mysteriously, everyone suddenly sold the tops and everyone took profit. Why are they not showing it? They are lying. They are lying. And it pisses me off, you guys know that. But psychologically speaking, people are now shifting too late. So what's happened here? People are so scared because of that PTSD, they're finally being sensible here. They're thinking, oh no, it's going to go lower now, it's consolidating. This is intended to confuse you. This is confusion. After huge crashes, suddenly going range bound, people start going, uh-oh, is it the bottom? Is it not? Who knows? So people are getting anxious. And what's now happened? The market has broken to the upside. The overall trend, and I'm hoping everyone can see this. I'm gonna leave the colors for now before I switch back for more clarity. The overall trend is down. We have broken upwards. What happened here? We crashed. We had a range. We broke up. The noobs continue buying. We broke down. We were in a range. We have broken the high. What could potentially happen next? It's very likely we're going lower. And I'm sure most people are now accepting that. But after this period and range of consolidation, we spent 72 days, I'll just refresh this quickly. We spent 72 days in extreme fear. Look at last month. I mean, it basically shit itself at that point. However, out of nowhere, we have suddenly returned to almost a neutral perspective. So that tells me, right now, everyone is starting to buy. That's what these candles are intended to do. And yesterday, when everyone was screaming and crying, the bottom's in, I said, please be patient. And here we go already. We are starting to see a potential rollover coming into play. It is patience that is essential, guys. And to be honest with you, these weekly and monthly closures are crucial because the likelihood is we are going to snap down again because now everyone's buying. So those people that are now buying after being too scared to buy here, they are going to sell. when it returns back even towards these levels here, because they're going to be expecting much lower. And then when it does break lower, they probably won't buy because they won't know where and they'll be too scared. I can almost guarantee it's probably going to work out exactly in that scenario. It is becoming incredibly predictable, I would say. I don't want to jinx it. We've been near flawless so far, but it just helps put things into perspective. Now, XRP as another example, weekly time frame. I mean, if you look at what's really happened here, we've merely broken a little bit of a range. If flat, I mean, go down to the range again, it's the same sentiment. Crash, wick back up, they all buy. It goes back down, they panic sell again. It drops lower, they don't do anything because they're expecting it to go much further. Then it pumps up, they buy. Then it crashes back down, they panic sell again. It wicks up, they think this is the bottom. It pushes up, they buy. Eventually, it's going to snap. And it's very likely going to snap. You know, this is a good sign in a way. And I was saying this to the members today. If anything, view this as a positive sign. I mean, in our situation, it is a positive because actually we made a good bit of money from when that was jumping. I mean, the holdings at the moment are worth around 200k, which isn't too bad, considering once we put another bit in lower, we'll be all good from there. But what you need to remember is the goal here is to obviously accumulate more XRP. That is the goal always, because I believe in this. And for anyone saying, yeah, but you could have done this, you could have done that, I'm personally, this is just what I believe in, and you can make, I'm hoping this sets an example that you do not need to hold 1 million coins because they go up together, they go down together. I purely trade this, and I've probably outperformed most people on an asset that many consider the slowest asset and the worst performer. Well, let's go to price range. From the low where we bought up to where it went, it done 1600%, or 1624 to be precise. Now, is that not enough? Is that not enough for people in the market where stocks you'd be lucky to get 20-30% a year unless you get a single good few picks? That is more than enough. And funnily enough, although I bought the precise bottom, I didn't need to time the exact top to actually achieve exactly 1600% in ROI from this move. And that was because of timing those tops and bottoms, which obviously cannot be perfect forever. I am bound to make a mistake at some point. However, my profit taking strategy, my dollar cost averaging accumulation strategy allows me to weather the storms without suffering. By buying here, in the worst case scenario, it goes all the way down. There is little room needed for recovery. If it just died right now to like 1 cent and came back up to here, I can get out at break even. But for some reason, and I still can't get my head around it, people buy this stuff, but that's what it's intended to do. Whilst people are buying here, I'm selling. Whilst they're buying here, I'm selling. Because if I'm accumulating up here, it becomes a lot more difficult to return back to a break-even standpoint. Now, I do believe, I will say this, once we go down, there will be a surprise upside movement. I mapped this out months and months ago from literally this. From the point we were up here, I mapped out the breakdown. You guys will recall, if you followed me on social media, I called the 48k top and I said 20k next. In fact, I will put my Instagram post up right now to show that as well. And now that this has happened, it is working out perfectly in line with expectations. And I do believe the market is overdue a rally at this point. However, you need to understand where to buy and where to sell. I'm not going to say where I'm going to take profit, and I'm not going to say where I believe the pump will go, but I do believe a little form of bullish momentum is necessary to get people's hopes up. Because whilst we're here, everyone's going to buy. And what will happen is all of these people that bought up here, they either don't have money to buy now, and that's something to mention as well. People always say, oh yeah, but you know, they're never going to let the retail buy that cheap. Of course they are, because the retail now do not have money to buy this cheap or to buy that cheap because they hodled. That's the beauty of this. The people you believe they will not allow to buy again cannot buy again really much now because they put it all in here. So by the time price reverses to where it's opportunity, or the best opportunity is, they don't have the capital to really invest like that. And if they do, and they buy here, I'm obviously not saying what I'm going to do, but let's say it suddenly pumps up to like 28, 30k. Do you think anyone's going to sell? Or are they going to continue hodling? And then what happens when all of these outstanding areas I've been telling you about potentially come into play, or we go even lower to, let's say, $1,000? And if you say it's not possible, well, enjoy getting wrecked time and time again, because everything is possible in this market, and that's something you need to accept. There's many good things that can come from this, but you have to do it sensibly. And the most important thing is taking profits, because what will happen now, they are scaling in higher, higher, higher. All within this region is a dangerous area, really and truly, especially during a bull market. You want to invest before the bull market, and you want to sell in the bull market. You don't want to buy in the bull market, because then you're not going to sell in the bull market. So imagine now they've bought there, and they buy again here. If it pumps up slightly, even to that wick at 28, they're not going to sell. And then they're going to add more positions, because they're now accumulating dollar cost averaging. You know, the biggest misconception with dollar cost averaging, and I absolutely love it, is buy, it's cheaper, you're averaging your price in lower. You are, you absolute numpty, but you're also averaging in from highs from there. So by the time you buy there and scale in down here, you're not really going to make any money unless it goes back to all-time highs anyway. You're meant to dollar cost average in this market very differently. And if you've read my profit taking guide, you will understand that. But overall, we are set for more lows. Now, alongside this, what I believe to be a bull trap and this pump over here, I don't care how much higher it goes, because I still know it's going to go lower. And that's what I'm kind of trying to get to. Now, let's go over here. CME gaps. Remember these gaps I was covering up here? And everyone was like, it will never get hit. Their CME gaps don't need to be fulfilled. I can assure you there's a pretty good chance they will need to. And remember this gap here at $9,665. I mean, it's probably going to get filled. But just be careful, because if it breaks down, I can only imagine everyone would look to buy there. Imagine it trolls you and just goes to like 11k or something. That would be funny. But it's likely, and it's whatever you're expecting, I can almost guarantee it's probably not going to happen. Another thing I said to my members that was necessary for this potential bull trap, a $1 trillion market cap. The first thing I said to my members before we broke down is we need to break through $1 trillion to really get that fear going. And it was at this very moment we saw that fear and greed index getting a bit frisky. We go back over now, lovely. We go back over here. So not only has a bull trap been commenced on this time frame at the moment, again, there is room for a bit more. I'm not going to say where, but here we've broken the highs, we've liquidated all the shorters. Now, obviously, when short positions are being liquidated and the overall trend dominance is downwards, they tend to wipe out the people who are shorting in the correct direction, but early. And then it continues in the correct direction, all the way potentially down to 7,000 or so. So you put that into perspective, and then at the same time, the market cap has now returned back to $1 trillion. This in itself is another psychological level. $1 trillion market cap. The first thing I saw when this happened, news events, news announcements, $1 trillion market cap returns, you know, really amplifying something when the grand scheme of things is, it's a single weekly candle coming into that area. Now, there are some good opportunities right now. A lot of altcoins have dropped significantly. Anyone that was in the group that's a member, QNT, gave this at $40 and I gave the sell target at $110. You can see that overlaid on the screen. Matic. Now, we haven't revealed the sell target just yet, but members that took this at 40 cents with a possibility to scale in lower also made 100% plus. That's 200% plus calls in a single week. Now, those members have banked that 100% profit. And what I'm trying to get to here is this is why you wait for the right moments. Because if we are believing this market is going to go lower, my members have now, whoever took these calls, whether it was just one or both of them, 100 to 200% short term in a bear market. They have now outperformed most people on a single pump across that entire market. And we're not even done yet by the looks of things. You know, this can now be reinvested back down at the right price again. This is the art of the game, people. This is what I'm trying to get to here. You have to be patient. And I think the most important thing really, guys, is try to avoid listening to social media. I think it's so important. you stay away from socials. And if you're going to use socials, use it in a way where you take what the majority are saying and do the exact opposite. I think some very big surprising things are going to happen in this market, both positive and negative. I haven't lost faith. I truly believe the market is only just getting warmed up. But we need the phoenix to rise from the ashes. And for that to happen, we first need to burn this fucker to the ground. There is too much dumb money in this market. Far too much dumb money. I could not believe what I was witnessing over the past year or so. The level of stupidity, the level of greed, the amount of people that were buying and selling any coin at any price. Now the wake-up call's kicking in. And it's not enough fear, in my opinion, just yet. So we're going to see what happens next. I don't know when I'll do the next video. Once we maybe bought and we see some more movement, I will probably do another update. However, in the meantime, I'm really upping that content on the reels and stuff to provide whatever I can in the meantime. And I think even if I do not show this side, because people pay for this stuff, I can't give it all away. And what I've the way I do things and say things is not to jeopardize members' content, but at the same time, you can't say I haven't given you this every step of the way for the meantime. So I'm also going to mix up some videos moving forward as well. I just bought a whiteboard, so I might even do some kind of lessons talking to the camera. I might do some different educational topics and stuff as well. There's an abundance of opportunities that can actually arise from this, but I hope you guys can now see and at least find some form of faith in me that whilst most people are running away hiding right now, I'm upping the content. I am here. I'm showing you 100% transparency that we do this for real. We have survived this bear market so far. We did profit from that bull market. You know, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to do anything, but please at least let the results do the talking and just use that as a justification. If you're going to blindly believe someone that's screaming for 100k or $100 XRP by end of year, the least I ask is to take into consideration someone that is giving you factual information with proven transparency to back it up.